Today, we are going to be talking about the American Express Fine Hotels and Resorts program, specifically in Las Vegas. So, a little earlier, my husband and I, we both have our own platinum cards, and we realized that our $300 semi-annual credit was about to expire. June is kind of coming to an end, and the credit is about to reset next month. So we kind of figured while we were here in Las Vegas, we wanted to test it out and kind of see what we can learn about the program and see how the different hotels are treating us. So what we did was my husband booked the Fontainebleau, and we are gonna check in and explore that one. And then tomorrow I booked the Belaggio. And so we're gonna kind of talk about the differences and kind of see what the program gets you. So today is Saturday, June, oh my God, what is it? 20th? And we checked in, let's see. Okay, and then we checked in today at the Fontainebleau. So part of the American Express Fine Hotels and Resorts Collection program is when you book through them, they only it only works at certain properties that are kind of like 5-star properties or nicer properties, and you get a lot of benefits and perks with it when you book through them. Generally, the fine hotels are not cheaper when you book through American Express, but it kind of depends on, it may vary for you, but usually you are not getting a discount, but the perks more than make up for that. So a couple of the perks would be an early check-in if available, and guaranteed late checkout, which is awesome. And then some of the other perks are breakfast for 2 at the wherever the hotel decides, or if they give you some options. And then usually you will get a $100 credit. So each hotel is a little different. Sometimes it will be a food credit, sometimes it will be just a general credit, sometimes it will be a spa credit. So it is kind of important to look at that when booking, kind of keeping that in mind. If you have no plans to go to the spa and that hotel gives you a spa credit, that might be one you want to avoid. But today we got to the Fontainebleau at around 1:30. So we didn't really use the early check-in too much, but before even arriving, they did reach out to us, a casino host, and just kind of like introduce themselves, which I thought was really nice. I don't know if that's because we had American Express or because we have been to Fontainebleau before, but upon check-in, we did wait in the normal check-in line, so that took about 20 minutes or so. It was a little bit busy at that time. There was a lot of people checking in and out, but we were able to get checked in. Another one of the perks of the program is upgrade when available. So that is kind of, it's hard to say because pretty much any hotel, if it's big enough, would have an upgrade available, but it's kind of up to their discretion. We booked for the Fontainebleau, we booked the cheapest room, which was just kind of like a standard king room. And upon check-in, they upgraded us to a high floor and a best view. So if I'm correct, it's the same room, but the upgrade is the view and the nice higher floors. So when we checked in, they gave us this letter, which kind of outlines everything about the program. And it says 12 p.m. check-in when available, which we didn't really take too much of advantage of because we got here at about 1:30. Room upgrade upon arrival when available, which they gave us, and daily breakfast for 2, $70 daily value. So the breakfast credit is interesting because you do get breakfast for each day that you stay at the hotel, not counting the day you check in. We are only doing a 1 night stay for each of these, so we aren't getting multiple nights of breakfast or multiple mornings of breakfast, but it's a $70 value. And here it says we can redeem that at La Fontaine, where the setting is as exquisite as the French-inspired cuisine. Breakfast is also available at Chez Bonbon, Vita, or Promenade Food Hall. Gratuity is not included in the $70 credit. So that's kind of nice. $70 is a pretty good value, $35 a person for breakfast, so that's nice. Each hotel's a little bit different. Sometimes they have like a flat rate for breakfast. Sometimes it's just a credit and you can order whatever you want off the menu. I am not too sure about La Fontaine. I have had some friends that went there and they said it's amazing. So I don't exactly know if we're gonna spend the whole credit or spend, more than the credit. We'll see tomorrow morning. But I'm kind of looking forward to that. That should be really nice. The other thing that it gets you on here, it says complimentary Wi-Fi, $5 daily credit applied to the resort fee. So in Las Vegas, a lot of the places will charge a resort fee, meaning every day you pay basically a fee to stay in the room. And that includes things like Wi-Fi and fax and long distance phone calls and a whole host of other stuff. I'm not going to get into resort fees here. There's a million other videos about that people have discussed that to death. But what is interesting is Wi-Fi is a guaranteed benefit of the Fine Hotels program. So if somewhere charges a resort fee and Wi-Fi is included in that, you actually get a credit towards the resort fee. So for instance, if the resort fee is $50, they're going to take off $5 because of booking through the American Express Fine Hotels program. So that's kind of nice. And then on here it says guaranteed 4 p.m. late checkout and $100 credit food and beverage to be used during your stay. Applicable at all restaurants and lounges, excluding in-room dining, minibar, Live Nightclub, and Live Beach Club. The nightclub and beach club are kind of like a separate thing, even though they're located here. They kind of do their own thing, so that makes sense. It is interesting that the in-room dining is excluded. You don't usually see that at a lot of different resorts. Usually you can use the credit for in-room dining, so that's interesting. But yeah, they basically just give you a welcome letter that kind of goes over everything. And it's nice to keep this handy and just kind of refer it back to it as you need. Usually how the program works is if you have the credit for the spa or for food, you will go and pay, buy the food or the service, and then you have to charge it to the room. So that's very important. So you have to charge it to the room. We are using our $100 credit and we will be dining tonight at Mother Wolf. So we've got reservations for 7:15, which is pretty exciting. And we have not eaten there yet. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Right before we checked in, our casino host said that they were going to drop by the restaurant and introduce themselves to us, which is kind of exciting. I'm not sure if they're planning on comping the meal at Mother Wolf or not, because the whole point of us going there was to kind of use this $100 credit. So if they do comp our dinner, that would be really kind of nice. But then we would still have this $100 credit to use before we check out tomorrow. And we also can't use it on breakfast because that's also included. So we may end up with a lot of food or a lot of takeout. I'm not sure. But all of that is those are some pretty awesome perks overall. But what really was awesome was after we checked in, they gave us this, which I had never really heard of before, but it is an invitation to what they call the Poodle Room. So apparently it's an invitation only club and it's on kind of like the top floor-ish with gorgeous views of the city. It's kind of like a bar cocktail lounge as far as I know. They say no cameras or video allowed. So when I looked it up, I didn't really see a whole lot of stuff about it, but it's kind of exciting. The reason I'm looking forward to that is tonight there is supposed to be at 9 o'clock, there's supposed to be fireworks. So the city of Las Vegas has been doing a thing for America's 250th anniversary, birthday, whatever. And so there should be fireworks tonight at 9, and I'm really hoping we can see them from the view from here. So that should be really exciting. So I am gonna go check out the resort, and then we'll go to dinner a little bit later, and I will keep you posted on what's going on. Then, after we've done our Fontainebleau, we will head tomorrow to Bellagio and kind of compare and see which one is better bang for your buck, I guess. All right.
So this is our room. This is a king best view room. So when you first walk in here, we've got the bathroom, which is lovely. We've got this shower, water closet, huge vanity, and the best part is this giant tub. Amazing, love that. Not a lot of tubs in Vegas these days, so having a nice tub is definitely a huge perk. We've got this giant mirror, and this looks like it leads, if you have like, friends staying in the other room, you can open up the door to do conjoined rooms, although that does not apply to us. And then we've got in here, we've got a little seating area, gold touches on everything. The room is absolutely immaculate, very clean, smells great. There's no signs of wear and tear. This place is looking awesome. No fridge really, but we do have like a mini bar, and nice TV, nice little sitting area, and the view. So the reason they call this the best view suite is because you look right over here and you've got a gorgeous view of the Sphere. You can see Encore over there, you can see the Strip, and it's just so awesome. Definitely can see the whole Las Vegas Valley from here. So we're kind of looking over here, and you just have sweeping views of everything. You can watch the planes flying in. You can see it all here. So right there, you can see the planes. Oh, zooming is not easy. And it's just nice. I mean, you can just sit here at this little table and just watch the whole city pretty much. So I love the view in this room. It's definitely a nice resort. So I'm just grabbing a quick bite to eat really quick before dinner in a few hours tonight. I haven't really eaten much today. I'm like kind of starving. All I've had is some coffee. So I wanted to like grab just like a quick treat, but I don't want to get like too full because we're gonna have a pretty big dinner tonight for sure. I've been to Fontainebleau several times before. I am not really a fan of their food court, I'm gonna be honest. Right now, several of the shops are closed on a Saturday afternoon. So the smoothie place is closed, the bagel place is closed. So they don't have a ton of options. There's a burger place, there's a pizza place, and a taco place, pretty much. All of them have long lines. All of them are extremely overpriced. $8 to $10 for a taco with no sides, nothing. So I am going to be honest, I'm really not a fan of the Fontainebleau food court, whatever it's called, food hall. But I figured I would just grab something really quick. So it was $7 for a side of rice and beans. Let's go ahead and see. I do love Spanish rice, so let's see. Yeah, it's good. It's pretty good. None of the food at the food court here is bad. I just think it's really overpriced. I mean, it's nothing really to write home about. So I know tonight the dinner is going to be amazing. But I just kind of feel like with the food court prices, like if you're spending $30 plus tax on 3 tacos,
at that point, why don't you just go out to a restaurant? I mean, why are you doing self-serve? It kind of just defeats the purpose, I think. I'd rather just go to one of the nicer restaurants here. If you're looking to not spend too much money, Washing Potato is a really good option. I love that place here. That we had a great time there. But yeah, as far as Fontainebleau, like, I would not put too much into the food court here. It's kind of a skip. So unless you're really in a pinch, I would probably get food elsewhere.
Hi, we're here at Mother Wolf at the Fontainebleau in Las Vegas.
Spending way more than our $100 Amex Fine Hotels credit.
Well, we're not spending it. The casino's spending it.
Well, I don't really know what we ordered because everything is in Italian, so...
But you're gonna love it.
I'm sure it's gonna be good, so
Yep.
we'll keep you updated. All right, we just finished eating at Mother Wolf, and we are headed to the Poodle Room to watch the fireworks tonight.
After they bring us our to-go dessert.
Well, we're kind of in a hurry, so we didn't really have time to eat the dessert. So she's gonna bring me an espresso that I'm gonna inhale, and then we've got some chocolate tortas, I guess is what it is, torta caprese to go. So we had the focaccia, we had the squash blossom appetizer, we had some pastas, and
Pizza.
I had the lamb. Oh, and a flat
The margarita pizza.
margarita flatbread pizza, and I had the lamb, which I wasn't able to finish because it was really good, but it was a lot of food. So we got some food to go, we got some dessert to go, and now we're gonna go check out the Poodle Room and check out the fireworks.
Yep.
Very excited. My little espresso, my little biscotti. So we were cutting it very close, and we were not able to make it to the Poodle Room before the fireworks at 9. So we rushed up to our room to see if we could see them out of our window here. I'm not exactly sure if we face downtown or not, to be honest. I don't really know which direction that is. But we're gonna check out here and keep you posted. Okay, we are here at La Fontaine for breakfast. We made an 11 a.m. reservation, but we got here half an hour early and they were able to seat us right away. So it does not seem to be too busy, which is good.
It's very pretty in here.
It's very pretty. So we're gonna take a look at the menu and see what we want to order with our $35 each breakfast credit. So let's see. So it looks like they do have a breakfast, but the price would be $48. So that would not be included in the credit here. So that's interesting. It is really pretty here. Okay, we just got back from our breakfast at La Fontaine.
Even have a little bit of leftovers.
We couldn't finish it all. What did you think of it?
It's not bad. I'm glad we didn't pay full price for it. We still, even with the breakfast included, it's not, because nothing really is within the price range that's a full considered breakfast, but it was not bad.
How much did we spend?
With tip, was $102,
Oh my God.
of which 70 is included.
Yeah.
So we paid $30-something for breakfast for two. It was pretty. I liked the atmosphere.
It was a nice restaurant. I did like with the coffee, for the cream, they steamed it before they brought it to you, which was nice.
Yeah.
They had maple syrup, which was really good.
They were very attentive and
Yeah, the
and
service
stuff.
was good.
Similar to last night at Mother Wolf. It was good, really good service. The food quality is good, just not necessarily what I would love on my own.
Yeah.
But it was included.
I didn't love the menu at this place.
It's a pretty limited menu for
For a breakfast.
variety of breakfasty
Yeah.
things. Very French. So
The main criticism that I have would be that the breakfast credit doesn't cover their breakfast,
Yeah.
their standard breakfast. But the other thing that I thought was also interesting was that they did not have a non-alcohol drink menu. So the coffee and the lattes and the cappuccinos and all of that was not listed on the menu anywhere. So when they came by to ask like what you want to drink, what kind of coffees, you have no idea what the options are, what the prices are. So that was a little annoying. I just got the souffle pancakes, just the side, and you got the
I
actual
got
breakfast.
the what they consider the La Fontaine breakfast, which is eggs, scramble, or any way you want, a pastry, which is this pastry I showed, an actual either sausage, bacon, or some kind of breakfast meat, or avocado, and either toast or this, and also it came with a little baby French toast, which was good. I just couldn't eat it all, so we have that to go as well.
So with you ordering the one breakfast,
And mine came with coffee, so he drank my
Which I
coffee
drank.
because I don't drink that stuff, and he had my sausage links so he could have some protein.
so with ordering one breakfast and a side of pancakes, we still spent $100.
Yeah.
So
But
the credit did not go very far
in
there.
In fairness, this is their most expensive breakfast. There were a couple of other options that would have been cheaper.
Well, the only other option was the coffee cafe, like the grab and go, or they said you could use it anywhere at the food court.
Right.
But they don't have. I guess they have a bagel place
Yeah.
at the food court.
So we could have done a
I guess
cheaper
we
breakfast.
we could have, but yeah.
But we wanted to. We had heard the experience was nice, so we went, and I'm glad I did it once. I don't think I need to go back again.
I probably would not return to that place for breakfast again.
I mean, if the hotel, if they were just comping and saying go, maybe.
Yeah.
But
for $100,
to
I
pay
think
for
you
it,
could
no.
definitely get more.
You could definitely get more. Even at this hotel, you can get more for that.
I mean, I did order the pancakes, but there was a lot of carbs. You got like this Danish here, you got French toast.
Yeah.
There was, it was a lot. It was very carb heavy.
Yes.
So now we have to leave the Fontainebleau and we are going to go check into Bellagio and see what they have going on over there.
Yeah. But I will say the room itself is it's a standard room, but it's a pretty nice room. And the view, you can see the skier right outside the room, and the mountains. So, and a little bit over there on the side, you can see the strip. So it's for a basic room, it's actually pretty nice.
Can you see the strip? Yeah, you can see the strip there.
So there's the sphere, and then you can see the other end of the strip. So it's nice.
Yeah. So for Bellagio tonight, we looked at the restaurants. I wanted to go to Carbone Riviera, but they didn't really have any reservations open.
And we had Italian last night at Mother Wolf, so
he doesn't want to do that. So we actually kind of might do dinner outside of Bellagio at another MGM property. We did make reservations for Best Friend Bavette's over at Park MGM, which we have been to before and we like it quite a lot.
Yeah.
So today while we were at breakfast, Carbone Riviera texted me and said that they did have a reservation open up today at the time that I would have wanted, but someone here doesn't want to go, so we are not probably going to have dinner at Bellagio.
We could go to that, and I just don't eat, and you use it because I'm happy to go and just experience because it is a place we haven't gone, and then maybe I'll just have a one tiny little bite of something you order if you want to do that. I'd be willing to because I'm actually, now that I've eaten this, I'm actually not hungry.
Well, that's also in 6 hours.
I know, but I wouldn't be hungry. I know me.
Okay, well then maybe I will see. Well, who knows where we're going to have dinner tonight? It's all up in the air, but we will keep you posted. Next, we're going to go check into Bellagio and see what happens.
Yep.
So, okay. So we just checked into the Bellagio. We were allowed to check in at the Platinum VIP Lounge because of our MGM status. But it is a little confusing because there is 3 check-in lounges for Bellagio.
For people with status.
There's a gold at the entrance by the hotel lobby. There is a platinum, which is all the way through the casino, away from the lobby. And then there's a noir lounge, which is kind of by the conservatory. So after going to the wrong lounge the first time, we did find the platinum lounge for check-in. And it took about 20 minutes to check in, which is about the same as the Fontainebleau, where we did not have a lounge to check in at. And after check-in, we booked a king spa strip view. So that is a little bit nicer than their cheapest room. And since Fine Hotels gives an upgrade, we asked about the upgrade and they said that we could get a restore room,
which is it's their wellness room
with a wellness room with an air purifier and
a shower with vitamin
head.
C infusion.
And then we asked, is there a bathtub? Which he said yes.
But he was wrong.
So yeah, after getting to the room, it's just a basic king room with no tub. So the upgrade is that we lost the tub.
But we now have a direct full-on looking out this window here.
So it is a very nice fountain view room.
Like straight into the middle of the fountain.
If you care about that. But we did pay for a strip view already, and the strip and the fountain view is kind of the same thing. So I'm not sure. Do you want to call them and see if you want to get a tub room and go back to the spa tower, or do you want to keep this room?
So the only advantage to this room is the spa tower is way the heck away down. You have to go through a hallway and away from everything.
To be fair, this isn't much closer from the main lobby where you enter anyways. This is also kind of far away.
It actually is really close because you just kind of walk through. You do walk through the casino.
Yeah.
Versus the long hallway. Honestly, you could do. I'd be happy with either because we're not even sleeping here. So
true. Then we asked about the credits, and he didn't know much, so he had to look up the American Express credits to clarify. There was no welcome letter. There was no information to regard to. So,
but the food and beverage credit, the standard food and beverage credit, can be used at any MGM property where you just charge back to the room. So we can use that anywhere, but breakfast has to be on property here. And we wanted to do Sadel's,
which is the main sit-down restaurant. There is a grab-and-go cafe, kind of like Fontainebleau.
But even on a Monday morning,
they are completely booked.
So they're going to get back to us.
Well, they said they could not accommodate us. They're going to call and see if they can make an exception. But it is a little disappointing that they give you a breakfast credit that is not redeemable as the program. So
let's be fair. There are 3 other choices of places. They're not fancy sit-down places, but there are 3 other places to get breakfast, a patisserie and other things like that.
So they can't do in-room dining either.
No,
So you can only do the grab-and-go coffee shop where there's nowhere to sit to eat.
Right.
Or the sit-down restaurant, which is booked. So they don't give you a lot of options. Right. So it is a little disappointing in that regard. Fontainebleau got us in immediately. There was no question. So,
but that also, to be fair, that also speaks to the popularity of and location in terms of people of Fontainebleau versus Bellagio. Bellagio is center strip,
and it's a lot busier.
And it's busier. It's a well-established older hotel. Fontainebleau.
Maybe they should have 2 breakfast restaurants.
I don't disagree, but Fontainebleau is all the way at the end of the strip, And so people aren't going there for breakfast typically unless they're staying there.
That's true.
So
we
could have tried to make reservations sooner.
But they said they would call us if something opens up, and we gave them a window. But it is a little disappointing overall. So the nice part is we can use our food and beverage credit anywhere on any property that's MGM.
Yep.
The downside is the breakfast is a little bit hard to redeem. So, and they also didn't tell us how much of a credit we get to redeem for breakfast. So that's also a little disappointing. There's nothing for us to go off of really. So I think we're gonna have to look that up on Amex, or maybe reach out to Amex and see what they say. Some hotels it's a $30 credit, some it's a $35.
Some it's just breakfast.
So I don't know. Overall, not a wonderful experience so far at the Bellagio, but we will see how things go. So it is about 1:30 right now, and we have dinner reservations at 5:15.
5:45.
5:45 tonight at Bavette's Steakhouse. So we will see how that goes, and then we will keep you updated.
Yep.
Boop. Okay, let's see.
Update.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Need a water. Okay, so we went back down to the check-in desk. Ooh. Okay. There's something in my throat. Okay, so we got to
update.
All right. So we went back down to the front desk.
To the VIP Platinum Lounge.
And we told them that we did not have a tub, even though he said it did have a tub. And so they looked, and they said, essentially, the upgrade from the spa room is the exact same room that we had without the tub.
And a primo fountain view. So if that's what you care about is the fountain view, that's the upgrade at Bellagio, is the straight on direct view of the fountain versus what we have now. And this updated back to the original room is kind of a side view.
So the view was nicer. This view, you can see a lot of the fountain, but not all of it.
And
we see the parking structure, so it's not quite as nice. You can still see Paris, you can see Planet Hollywood, you can see Cosmo.
Yeah.
It's still a great view. It's
we
not
got a tub.
not a primo view, but it is nice. And then we got the tub here.
But more importantly,
well, that's different. So we said, so there's no upgrades available for the room that we booked and paid for. That was already an upgrade with a tub. And they said, upgraded rooms don't have a tub. So I just said that's a little silly, but she did say they were pretty booked for the weekend, so they did not have anything available.
And at first she said, because I said, well, okay, we'll take the original room, but can you do anything to make up for the fact that there's no upgrade? And originally she said no, because we do have an upgrade, but you don't want it.
We're declining the upgrade, basically, is what they said.
But because it's a downgrade from our perspective, because it didn't have the tub.
Yeah, and it's not like the room was any bigger or any newer or anything nicer, really. It was just the same room minus the tub. And so I was a little disappointed. So she got on the phone with her manager, and they were discussing it, and while she was on the phone with the manager, I mentioned we also aren't able to use the breakfast credit from American Express. So there's no upgrade, there's no breakfast. Really, kind of what was the purpose of using the fine hotels in the first place? And after discussing it with her manager, they said, oh, well, you know, if you don't want to eat at Sadelle's, you could try Lago. They do breakfast. And so I said, okay, what's the availability at Lago?
No availability.
And she said, there's no availability either. And so I said, do you see the problem here?
So none of the sit-down restaurants for breakfast have any availability for us to have breakfast tomorrow, but we have a breakfast credit that has to be used tomorrow.
By tomorrow.
So I'm like, this is a problem. So while she was on the phone with her manager, she did mention to us, she goes, well, you could use it at Starbucks, which $60 at Starbucks is
in a single transaction.
Although it is Vegas, so it's not that.
It's doable,
it is
but
doable.
It's not a great luxury experience like they kind of promised on fine hotels.
But she did.
So what we discussed was she gave us an additional $100 food and beverage credit on top of the $100 food and beverage credit from Amex. So we now have $200 food and beverage credit and the $60 breakfast.
Yes.
They put us on a wait list. They will call us if something opens up at Sadelle's for breakfast. But basically, I think they kind of realized it didn't look very good, that they couldn't offer an upgrade. They couldn't offer any restaurants for breakfast.
Yeah.
They really couldn't offer us much.
I mean, she did her best.
Oh yeah, and she was great. She was very nice. But yeah, we just seemed to be striking out with the stay at the Bellagio. So they gave us a $100 food credit, which I'm pretty happy with.
On top of the 100 you already get with Amex.
Yeah. So either we're gonna have a really fancy dinner tonight, or we can use the leftovers and use it for Siddell's, because I believe that would go over $60 if we both have breakfast. So not super happy, but not super disappointed either. No room upgrade like at Fontainebleau, but we got a little extra bonus credit.
Yep.
So now we are going to do a quick little room tour, show you what the room is like, and then we will go to our dinner later. So let's see.
Right.
Same as Fontainebleau. First door to the left is the bathroom. So we've got a really nice glass shower here with a nice little shelf for like shaving your legs. We've got the toilet here, so no separate water closet like at the Fontainebleau. Then we've got this nice double vanity and the tub that we paid for, that we finally got. So the tub is very nice, very deep. I think it's the same as Fontainebleau. There is no jets. But the tub looks really nice. It's very cute in here. And then we do have a mirror. It is not nearly the size of the one at Fontainebleau, but it's nice. Say hi. And then we come into the main area. So in Fontainebleau, they did have a seating area here. So that we do not have, but we've got the bed here, supposed to be very comfortable in the spa tower from what I've heard. So we'll check that out. And we've got a little chair and then a little seating area, which goes out to the view. Great, in my opinion. And then in the room, we've got, you know, a little mini bar area down here and the TV. TV's very nice. So overall, pretty decent room. But I do think comparative, the Fontainebleau was maybe just a touch nicer with just a touch more seating. But both of them are pretty comparable. I did like the Fontainebleau because the giant mirror. This one is just kind of like a half mirror, so you can only see from kind of like waist up, whereas the Fontainebleau was like a full length mirror and it was massive. Like you could fit several people in the mirror at once if you were, you know, getting ready and checking out your outfit. But yeah, this is the Spa Tower King Room at the Bellagio.
Just kidding, I just love you.
Is it filming?
Yeah.
Oh, so today's our last full day on this trip in Vegas.
Last night we went to Bavette's Steakhouse
Over at Park MGM.
because we weren't sure if we were going to get a reservation anywhere at Bellagio.
And I really like Bavette's. It's actually really good.
It's pretty easy to make a reservation there. They're usually open. Bavette's is really good. We have been there several times before. The service is always wonderful. The food is really good.
Yeah. They have a chicken dish, since I don't eat red meat, at a steakhouse. But they have this chicken dish that's really good, a spiced chicken that kind of is reminiscent of like Indian food, but really, really tasty.
Mm-hmm. And I had filet, we had the Brussels sprouts, got a salad.
And the crazy, crazy ice cream sundae dessert that we shared.
Yeah, well, since we got the extra $100 food credit, we had a lot to spend. So when they brought the dessert menu, they had an royal ice cream sundae with like 10 different toppings that you could put on it. And there was like Oreos and Butterfinger and marshmallows and sprinkles and like just so many different things. It was really good. Yeah. The ice cream was okay. It wasn't the best ice cream I've ever had, but it was good. The toppings were fun. It was a fun dessert for sure. Definitely you could share it with like 3, maybe even 4 people.
Yeah.
It was pretty big. When we ordered it, the people next to us were like asking us like, what was that? Oh my gosh, it's so big. So it was pretty fun. And then
Now this morning we're getting ready to.
yeah, that was last night. We forgot to make a video.
Yeah.
So now this morning we are on our way to Sedell's.
Over at Bellagio.
We did secure 11 a.m. reservation after talking to the front desk about that. And then we are gonna use our we're gonna use our Fine Hotels credit there, as well as any of the leftover credit from last night, since we had $200. And then if there's anything left after that, we'll probably go to Starbucks.
He's going to go to the Starbucks, because at Bellagio, Starbucks is actually owned by MGM, so you can charge to the room.
So that's one of the ones. The downside is you do have to stand in line. You can't mobile order if you want to charge it to the room. So we'll see how busy it is there. Bellagio seems to always be busy, but it'll be fun. And then we'll probably go check out the conservatory and just go check out a little bit more Bellagio before we have to check out tonight or this afternoon. So
Yeah. There we go.
What are you gonna order at Sedell's?
I don't know yet.
You haven't even looked at the menu?
I looked, but I don't know yet. We'll see when I get there. What moves me?
What moves me? Oh my god.
First, I'm going to go gamble.
Oh my god.
So we just got back from Bellagio, where we had a breakfast brunch at Sedell's, which
Sedell's.
best described kind of like a fancy upscale Jewish delicatessen inspired breakfast and brunch place. It was actually very good, and surprisingly, given it's sitting right there at the conservatory in the Bellagio, you'd think it would be expensive, and it was actually reasonably priced. Even like for Vegas standards, very reasonably priced, and even for Seattle standards, I thought the prices, like, you could literally get a bagel and cream cheese for $6, which is about what you pay
at a grab and go place.
Yeah, back home.
Yeah.
And the food was good. The service was good.
Compared to La Fontaine at the Fontainebleau, the prices were a lot more affordable, and there was a way larger selection of food items.
But I think we've discovered you're not a French breakfasty kind of which is heavy carbs.
Yeah,
you like the more Jewish delicatessen kind of breakfasts, like
protein and more options. I felt like at La Fontaine, if you didn't get an omelet, there was pretty much no protein options. You could get sides of bacon or sausage, but
for $15.
16.
16, yeah.
So I just wasn't very happy with the selection. At Sedell's, they had everything. It was a lot more affordable. Their sides were like 11. Sides seemed to be bigger. Portions seemed to be bigger. The food was perfect. Basically, there was nothing wrong. Everything was good.
And we found out there's one table of Sedell's that's out actually in the conservatory. And we've always wondered about that and thought, oh, you have to pay a lot of money just to sit there. And she told us it's...
You could sit there for two.
For two people, it's $137 per person. And we thought, oh, that's the fee for the table, and then you order. She goes, no, that includes all your food.
And she said it includes, I didn't see everything, but it includes like a tower, and it includes champagne, and you get to order off the menu. And I was gonna say
that's actually a good deal, because you get to be part of the conservatory exhibit, and that's kind of fun.
If you like being watched.
If you don't mind being watched by a bunch of people.
So she actually said, like, if we wanted to come back tomorrow at 8 a.m., they had an opening, which we will be flying out tomorrow, so we probably don't have time.
Maybe on the next trip.
But it's definitely something we might consider. But overall, I think that the food there is so much better than the La Fontaine and more affordable. So I really did like that.
I will say, though, now that we've talked about the food, the Bellagio itself, hotel-wise, comparing Amex Fine Hotels and the deal you get and the room and the quality of customer service at Fontainebleau, which is what I did, versus Bellagio, which is you did, so we could compare side by side. Bellagio definitely, it has the name recognition, and when you think of Las Vegas, people think of the fountains and Bellagio. They don't think of Fontainebleau. But I will tell you, Fontainebleau is prettier. It
Nicer.
is better customer service. Even we were talking about just walking down the hallways to get from the elevator to your room. The hallways at Fontainebleau are double the width, well decorated, very beautiful. Everything smells clean, and it is newer from a opening perspective, but it just looks better. Even the renovated rooms and stuff over
the Bellagio said it's renovated recently, but the Fontainebleau smelled so much nicer, was so much cleaner, was so much more impressive overall. The customer service at Fontainebleau was way better.
Yeah. And then they had
less of a wait.
There was
issues.
not very much. There was a little bit of a hiccup on checkout at Fontainebleau, but they took care of it right away.
Well,
there was a lot more.
There was a lot more issues at the Bellagio.
Yeah, but
so we were told that because of our status that we would not pay a resort fee. They charged us the resort fee anyways. Upon check-in, I confirmed that we were not going to pay a resort fee. They still charged it anyways. Yeah. They had some issues applying the credits. I had to wait for almost a half an hour. They had to get a manager to come just to apply the credits for the fine hotels, which are guaranteed. So overall, the service was just not very luxurious at the Bellagio versus Fontainebleau. There was no wait for anything. They answered the phone right away. They were able to help us and answer any of our questions right away.
Yeah.
Bellagio, there was a lot more confusion.
A lot less knowledge of how the program worked.
Yeah.
I mean, even at Fontainebleau, they gave us like, oh, thank you for booking
There
with
was
Amex. They
the
gave
letter,
a letter which explained everything
and they
what
knew
you get.
what the program entailed. At Bellagio,
they didn't know anything. There was no letter. They were like, I don't know what restaurants it works at,
Well,
which this it could work at, or what. They literally didn't know anything about the program.
And when you checked in at Bellagio at the Platinum desk, they just said, oh, you booked with Expedia. So they weren't aware of the fine hotels. To them, it's all a third party. They don't really make a difference, differentiate between the two. They didn't really care. The manager did kind of know what the fine hotels program was, but she still wasn't sure what was covered and what was not. She didn't know in-room dining wasn't covered with the credit. I mean, it was just it was a little sloppy overall, comparative to Fontainebleau.
Here's what I'll say overall about using the fine hotels in Las Vegas. Actually, probably anywhere, but especially in Las Vegas. It is definitely worth using it. You do get your money's worth. However, you must be on top of it. You must double check and triple check that they didn't add a fee that they shouldn't have done, that they give you the credits you want, that they give you the upgrade. Because sometimes they'll say, oh yeah, we upgraded you.
Yeah.
When you're like, no, that's what I booked. That's not what
a lot of the times they think they've already upgraded you and they haven't. We've had that in the past.
So you have to keep on them and advocate for yourself to make sure you're getting all the things that you can and that you should get. And if they can't do something, like if they like, oh, we have no upgrades, or we can't get you into the breakfast because it's booked out and that's the only place the breakfast credit works, then ask for them to make it right. And usually it might take a little time, and it's annoying that you have to do work to get this benefit that you
already paid for
with Amex. But it is still a good deal if you're willing to do that extra bit of work. It's annoying, but it is a good deal, because we had at Fontainebleau a lovely room with an amazing sphere view for free, because it was paid fully by Amex with the $300 twice a year credit, and then a very nice meal on Amex as well, and breakfast.
Yeah.
So, and then we did the same. The room was not as luxurious at Bellagio, but it was still a nice room.
Yeah.
The meal last night at Bavette's was great.
Mm-hmm.
The meal at Siddell's was great. Other than the mess you had to dealing with the credits and all that stuff, that was also a wonderful experience for essentially free.
Yeah.
Other than like the only part you pay is your annual fee for the Amex. So it's a benefit. If you're going to have that, you get anyway. You should
definitely use it.
Yeah.
A couple things that I would say is that I think they're pretty similar in price between the Fontainebleau and Bellagio, but I think Bellagio is a little less expensive than Fontainebleau. But both of them are covered fully by the credit.
Yep.
Because of our status,
obviously depending on the time of year, if there's an event, the prices
in the weekend
might be
or
up.
the weekdays. I mean, the prices change, so take a look at that and see. But it is also a little confusing because you do have to pay the resort fees when you check in, so that is factored separately from what you pay using your $300 credit, and the resort fees will not work with your $300 credit.
Right.
So,
but if you have status, like high status, you could usually get them to waive the fees. But if you do have status, you can.
So overall, I would say I think Fontainebleau is a better value than Bellagio, but Bellagio is a better location.
Location
so
is
if
the
you've
difference.
never been to Vegas before, the Bellagio might be fun to stay at. It's walking distance to a lot of other properties and a lot of things to do and see. The Fontainebleau is a lot nicer if you're looking for somewhere to relax or to hang out at. You can use the tub in your room, you can hang out, you can go to the spa.
They also have a lot of music experiences, concerts and stuff. Fontainebleau seems to lean very heavily into performing arts, musicians and things like that. All the properties have entertainment, but Fontainebleau really focuses on music. But yeah, if you're at Fontainebleau and you want to go off property and you're walking,
It's more of a
even
hassle.
driving, but walking especially, it's probably a good 20 minutes to walk anywhere that you might want to go. The Wynn, a Resorts World, anything like that. Bellagio,
Is close.
Aria, Cosmo, Paris, Planet Hollywood, that central corridor there, and
You
Bellagio.
can get to a lot of different properties.
So Bellagio's
quickly.
right there, and you could literally, we walked, because we're in Paris right now, we walked from the Bellagio back over here in like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And that was, even in the heat, 100 and whatever degrees it is out, it was pretty easy and just to quickly get over here. So it's, if you just want to be able to hop between different casinos, different resorts, different restaurants,
More shopping, more
definitely
food
more shopping.
options. Bellagio is the way to go.
Center Strip, which is where Bellagio, which is the only hotel on fine hotels in the Center Strip area. Actually, I guess Waldorf Astoria is too.
Waldorf Astoria is.
But if you want a hotel with a casino, it's only Bellagio.
So kind of depends on what you're looking for when you book your trip, but I overall thought Fontainebleau did better on this experiment
as a resort itself.
rather than Bellagio. So I would probably recommend Fontainebleau over that. But if you want to be in the middle of the action, the Bellagio is probably the place to stay. I will say for the breakfast credit, neither of the hotels covered the full price of a signature breakfast at their restaurants, which is a little disappointing. But I do think Seydel's blew Fontainebleau, La Fontaine out of the water. Price-wise and quality and food-wise and service-wise, it did blow them out of the water. The thing I will say though is if you're going to do Bellagio, you really do have to book reservations in advance. They don't have any, I mean, they're always booked, they're always busy, they're less likely to give you an upgrade, they're always saying they're booked and that sort of thing. Fontainebleau has never had that issue. You could walk into any restaurant you want, you don't need a reservation, they always have rooms upgraded.
It's always good to make a reservation to be sure if you want to get a seat, but chances are Fontainebleau will have availability when you want it, even short notice, whereas Bellagio is very unlikely to have...
Bellagio is a lot busier overall for everything. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for. We have stayed at a couple of the other properties on the fine hotels as well. We have done Wynn in the past.
The Venetian.
And we've done the Venetian, and we also did Crockford's at Resorts World. So we've stayed at a few of those, and those are all really fun too. But if it's between Bellagio and Fontainebleau, like we just did, I like Fontainebleau, but the breakfast was better at Bellagio.
Yeah, I will say, if you also want to be not in the Center Strip, the Venetian, and you just want to stay in one place and not leave the property, Venetian, all the rooms are suites, so they're nice, they're bigger, and there is a lot of food options at Venetian, a lot of food, and their casino, if that's what you want, is huge. It's huge and has a lot of variety. So Venetian is a good option if you don't want to be in Center Strip, but you want something just a little, it's just a tiny bit closer to center than Fontainebleau, because Fontainebleau is all the way at the end of the strip. But honestly, between the two, if I was picking between Fontainebleau and Venetian for myself, I would actually, I've stayed at both, I like both, but I would actually pick Fontainebleau just because it feels nicer, it smells cleaner. I don't smoke. Everyone in Vegas, there's a lot of smoking. The casino, there is smoking, but you would never know they're smoking at the Fontainebleau because the ceilings are so high. And I actually think, as far as casinos go, the Fontainebleau's casino is the prettiest. It's just
cleanest,
big,
newest,
spacious.
nicest.
You don't feel enclosed. It's very spacious and a lot of choices and options.
Yeah, and Fontainebleau, one thing we noticed every time we've ever been there is a ton of people cleaning. There's always people mopping the floors. There's always people sweeping and wiping the windows and wiping the door. I mean, it is immaculately clean at Fontainebleau, and it smells wonderful. I've never smelled smoke. Can't say that about any of the other properties except Park MGM, which is smoke-free. But yeah, Fontainebleau almost feels smoke-free because it smells so clean and you can't really tell. But between the two, I would say Fontainebleau if you want to be in the middle of the action.
Bellagio.
I guess, but it did not feel very luxurious. Fontainebleau definitely felt like a 5-star.
Yeah.
Bellagio, not so much.
The room, I mean, they upgraded
the
the room they gave us. Wasn't even a suite at the Fontainebleau. It was an upgraded view of it. But the room felt 50% bigger, more luxurious, but also 50% bigger than the room at Bellagio.
Yeah, and bigger tub, bigger mirrors, bigger windows, more seating area at Fontainebleau.
So I think there's just more. If you want to, have a nice luxury and stuff,
Fontainebleau.
You can do Fontainebleau. Literally, if you have a Amex Platinum card, twice a year you could do one night for free and have your meal and your dinner and your breakfast comped.
So it just depends on what you're looking for, but overall it was a fun experiment. Maybe we will do it again next quarter and do 2 other properties. We have not done Waldorf Astoria yet, and there might be one other, I think like the Four Seasons or something. I can't remember. There might be one other that we haven't
tried. But those
ones,
both of those hotels, you cannot. Even the lowest price room is higher than the full comp that Amex covers, so you will pay out of pocket for it. And neither of those hotels have a casino, so that if you're wanting casino, you're coming to Vegas for that's not necessarily the place. And because it has no casino, you can't earn rewards and stuff in addition to what you get for Amex. But anyway, it's something we might try. All right.
Anything else to say?
No.
All right. Fontainebleau.
Bye. We're good.